It's Sway in the morning, only on Shade 45.
2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Could you give me a little more on myself? Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Buddy Guy about to bust a freestyle.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I think that's fine.
You could hear that? Mm-hmm. That was the legendary Buddy Guy. Mike checking here, Shade 45, man. Whoever thought? Who would ever have thought? Man, Buddy Guy is here. We're going to talk about the blues a little bit, right? Mr. Guy?
That's why I'm here.
You know, interesting. You'll recall this. I met Buddy Guy, first of all, regarded as one of the greatest blues musicians of our time, certainly still living. Father of Shauna, we all know Shauna from Disturbing the Peace, and now she's doing her independent thing. And, blues serves such a important presence in the history of our music here in the United States, from rock and roll to even rap. Blues and pop. Blues has influenced all music. And Buddy Guy has a new book, When I Left Home, that's out now. And you can go to Amazon.com and all these different bookstores, I'm sure Barnes and Nobles, to pick it up. It's an interesting story about his life and some of the people that you play with. And what I found really interesting is we were doing a show called My Block Chicago HB with MTV. And in My Block Chicago, we were going to cover all the new up-and-coming artists in Chicago.
Right.
Like, at that time, Kanye was relatively new, so we were talking with him, Rhyme Fest, Common,
right.
Shauna, of course. With the Shauna piece, Shauna was an hour late to the piece we were going to do with her. Your daughter was an hour late, Buddy Guy. And
I'm listening to you. I'm very much aware of that late disorder. If you didn't say it, sooner or later I was going to say it. She probably won't like it, but I was going to let you know anyway.
And so we met up at one of your famous clubs, all right? And then you start telling me these amazing stories about being on the road as a musician, and when you first started, and playing with the likes of Muddy Waters and B.B. King, and how Eric Clapton, who is regarded as, he's revered in his music business. But when you met him, talk about the first time you met him.
Who, Eric?
Yeah.
Well, I went to England in February of 1965, and they wasn't famous, and they was on their way. Mm-hmm. And I toured throughout England with a group called the Yardbirds. And Rod Stewart was the valet.
Wow.
Rod Stewart was the valet.
Yeah, he had my guitar, carrying it around for me, and neither one of them was famous as they became later on. Mm-hmm. And Jeff Beck and Eric, I got to meet them later, and they told me after they got so famous, they said, we slept in a van to watch you play, and we didn't know a Stratocaster play blues until we saw you. Mm-hmm. I'm like, saying, what do you mean? He said, no, we thought that guitar just for country and western music. We didn't know we played blues. We saw you, so we've been playing the Strat ever since, and they're still playing it right now.
Playing it right now.
Well, because I thought a guitar was a guitar, man. You can play blues on one, you can play it on another one. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And these guys got to be big, famous, revered, honored, superstars.
Yeah. Right.
And people, ironically, people may know, unless music enthusiasts, they may know Eric Clapton's name before they know your history.
Well, there's a billion more people know him than they know me, you know, but they did a lot for us, not just me. They talked about Ike and Tina Turner, the Rolling Stones, and the B.B. Kings, and they brought us to the white audience that we wasn't reaching before those guys started playing the blues. I must admit that. So actually, to be honest with you, they did more for us than the record company did, because they introduced us to different crowds, which was the white audience that was coming out in tremendous crowds. Mm-hmm. And before they started playing, it wasn't no such thing as these big outdoor theaters we have now. Mm-hmm. Actually, the biggest places you would play during the James Brown early days, the B.B. Kings and the Fire Royals and Joe Turner, it was the Apollo Theater in New York, the Howard in Washington, and the Rigger Theater in Chicago. And if you played them, you was big stuff. Other than that, it wasn't no Wolf Trap in different places.
It wasn't those places. So it was these guys that helped introduce the blues, in a sense, to a wider mainstream audience.
Yes.
It's Sway in the morning, only on Shade 45.